All right, let's talk about different types of data that we might come across. Now, by data, we're just talking about it's the information that we collect. Okay, so if you were doing a survey, for example, or some internet research, it's the data that you're collecting, and there might be different variables. These are the things that you're measuring. It might be someone's income, or a sample of people and their incomes, or their age, or any kinds of thing. But there's a couple of different categories, 4 in fact, that we're going to split our data into. Firstly, we're going to split it in half. It could either be things that are categorical, is our first half. So we're going to take a half and then we're going to split that in half again. Categorical is just data that is words. Okay, not numbers, but things that are words. Now, it could be one of 2 different types of categorical data. Categorical nominal are words that don't have any order. So you might be taking a survey of people's hair color. There's no order to that. It's not like it goes blonde, red, brown, black. Like, they're just individual things. They just are their own group, their own values. All right. So we call that data categorical nominal. There's no order to it. But you could have some words that have an order. Imagine things like going from bad, good, better, and best. There's an order to that, isn't it? Like it goes from one to the other. But there's still words, or you could be something like this. First, second, third. They're still words, but they have an order to them. So categorical data could be split up into nominal, if there's no order, or categorical ordinal, if there's an order to it. The other type of data, the other half, the other 2, are things that involve numbers, and we call them numerical, or you might hear it referred to as quantitative. So those 2 words you can interchange. Numerical data or quantitative data is data that is made up of numbers. Surprise, surprise. The 2 different subcategories here are numerical discrete. Now, discrete is just individual numbers, usually integers or whole numbers, but they don't represent a spectrum, they just scores. So, for example, think of a batsman, a cricket player, and his scores every time he bats over a season. Well, they're just an individual list of numbers. They're all individual numbers, they're whole numbers, and they just kind of represent individual occasions or occurrences of that number. However, numerical continuous is data that is continuous. If you think of a spectrum or a range of scores that go along an unbroken line, for example, height is probably a common example of numerical continuous data, because I could be 1.78 meters, 1.781, 1.782, 1.783, etc., etc. You see, it's like this continuous, unbroken. I could find my score anywhere on that range. Unlike a cricket batsman, where I can't say, yeah, in this innings he got 38.3 and then 38.31. See what I mean? Like either just individual scores or something that's on a continuous range or a scale. So that's the summary of our data types. Split them in half. They're either going to be categorical or numerical or quantitative. And then you split those into groups depending on whether or not there's an order to them or whether or not they're just their own individual pieces of data. All right, well done.